Hi, good afternoon. So last class we have discussed about this synonyms. Roll-up and cube is completed. Next synonym. So synonym is an alternative name for the or permanent alias name given to the table or view or sequences stored in the procedure, function, or packages for users' convenience to use it. Okay. So synonym means it is an alternative name or permanent alias name given to the table, view, sequence, stored procedure, function, or packages for this user's convenience. So synonyms can be created for the entire object only. Okay. So if you are creating synonym, so it should be for the entire object only. It is used to hold the owner of the table. It works like a mirror image of the table. So synonym, it doesn't have the own structure. It depends on the table. Synonym is a permanent alias name for the single base table or a view. So here using the synonym, you can hide the table names. Okay. So when you want to give some different names for the table, or you don't want to give the original name of the table to the business user or whoever user wants to access the table. So then you can give the synonym name instead of the main table name or original table name. Synonym can support DML operations, DQL and DCL operations only. Okay. Synonyms can be public or private. Public or private. Okay. All synonyms are created in the user synonyms, user underscore synonyms or all underscore synonym tables. User underscore synonyms or all underscore synonyms. Okay. These are the base tables for the synonyms. Means whatever you are creating the synonym, so all will be stored in these two tables. So if any changes in the synonym, automatically reflected into the table vice versa. Synonym is a dependent object, whereas table is an independent object. Which means if the table is dropped, then synonym stops its working. If a table is reflected back, recalled back, then synonym will start working. Okay, that means whenever you are creating any public synonym or private synonym, so once you create a synonym on the table, so if the table is deleted or dropped, then synonym won't work. But if you again recreate the table, then synonym starts working. So what is the private synonym? So under the synonym, we have the public and private synonym. So private synonym means it is used to create a private synonym in current schema and accessed within that schema only. Okay, private synonym is within that schema only you can able to access that synonym. So syntax is create synonym, synonym for table name. Okay, that means here this is the syntax create synonym, synonym name for table name. So that within this app schema, you can access this synonym. So for example, to create the synonym and other apps, so create a table in custom schema. So say suppose if is there custom schema and give grants to the app schema. Connect to the app schema, create synonym in app schema. So suppose we will create one more in the HR schema. Okay, we'll create a table in the HR schema first, so that we need to connect to the HR schema here first. Now we already connected to the schema. App schema we have connected. So now I am going to connect here with the HR schema. Okay, now it is connected in the HR schema. How will you know it is a HR schema or app schema? How will you know this whether it is a HR schema or app schema?
Above it's showing HR.
Huh? చెప్పండి.
Beside it's showing HR database symbol what's showing, sir.
And suppose if I name change, I will rename
will
it
connect
Beside
connected
the
as a chat data.
here. So one is here,
Right.
schema name whatever we are taking that one, and another is select a user from dual username. Select user, username, user I think. Okay. So when you use this select user from dual, it is in the HR schema here. Suppose in this, if you use the same thing, it is app schema. So with this query, you can get to know that is whether you are connected in which schema. So another way is already by default it will be here which schema you are connected. You can based on this you can able to figure it out. That is app schema here it is connected. When come to here this is the HR schema it is connected here. Okay, so like that also you can identify. And another here when you connected here, so this is the connection method. It is already connected here. Okay, here it is connected, but if you open any other and if you say it is rename, suppose something you can, I'll rename instead of the HR, I can say my test. Okay, then how can you say that with this is in which schema? So only thing you have to based on this here, it is in HR schema or app schema, and another is using the select user from dual. Based on that only you can able to tell what is which schema it is. Okay, so now what we will do is we'll create a table in the HR schema. So that is create table XXAP invoice all underscore 20. No, sorry, 19. I'll give invoice number, varchar to invoice ID, number, invoice amount, number, invoice date, date I am giving. So I'm creating a table in the HR schema here now. Okay. Table is created. I'm going to insert data into this table. So I'm inserting 3 records into this table and commit, select, stop from our table name. So how many records? Now 3 records are there. Suppose same table if I want to access from the app schema, is it possible? Select star from XXAP invoice all underscore 19. So then it is saying table or view does not exist. So we have created the table in the HR schema, but we are trying to access in the app schema. So because this is the created in the another schema, either we have to first give the grants and after that we need to create the synonym for this table name in the app schema. So without this creating the synonym, how can we access? Another way is you can mention this HR dot schema name dot table name. But every time mentioning this is not possible. In the real time when you are writing the packages, then in this packages you should not write like this schema name dot table name. Only you have to use either table name or apps dot table name. Like that only you have to use in the real time. You should not use the custom schema names or any other schema names in the packages while calling the table name or while inserting into the table data. So in that scenario, suppose if you are creating like this, only with the table name it is not able to access, but when you use the schema name, it is able to access. But this is not the right way. So you have to create some alias name, synonym in the app schema for this table. So before that, to create the synonym, what we have to do? We have to give the grants to the table on this table for this app schema. On this table, we have to give grants to the app schema first. So how will you give the grants using this below syntax? Grant all on schema name dot table name to schema name. Okay, that is to give grant all on or table name to app schema. Okay, so before giving the grants, shall I try to create the synonym in the app schema? Is it possible? So I'm creating the underscore 19 here also underscore 19. So what I'm doing? So first step we are create the one custom table in the HR schema, but after that we need to give the grants to that schema for the app schema. But without giving the grant schema, I am trying to create a synonym in the app schema for the table. So we'll see what will happen. Create or replace synonym apps dot xxap invoice all underscore 19 for HR dot xxap invoice all underscore 19. Okay, see this for this HR schema table, we are creating the synonym in the app schema. Synonym is created. So now when I access this one, it is giving the data also. But the issue is when you want to use the DML operations on this synonym, it won't allow you because so here we are not provided grants to app schema so that it will give when you do any DML operations, it will throw the error. So to avoid that, we have to give first grants on this table to the app schema. Grants all on hr.app xxap invoice all underscore 19 to app schema. Okay, grants is succeeded. Now after that, we are creating this synonym here. So once you created the synonym previously, when you use the without the schema name, it is thrown the error. Now it is giving the table output here. Okay, what are the data it is there? Same output it is giving here. Okay, now what I will do, I will insert some data in the app schema using okay underscore 19. So insert into xxap invoice all 19 values PQRS 345 some number I am giving here. So when you check this table, here I am getting the 4 records. So I will go to HR schema and same thing I will try here. Then I am getting only 3 records only. Okay. So why it is not reflected? So here it is showing for the same table I am using, but here I am getting the 4 records and in this schema only 3 records only it is displaying. So that means once you are any modification DML operations performed, you have to commit, then only it will be reflected in the other schema. So until then only within this schema, within this schema name only, within this session only it will be available. Once you commit, then it will be available for the other schema also. Now you can check this. Okay, XYZ, PQRS. Okay, you have answered that. PQRS value. So same it is reflected here. Same way, so if you insert from the here also, in the HR schema you created the table. In that also when you try to insert, also MNOP. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. And number I am giving, and here 600 I am giving. So now in this HR schema, so this is having 5 records. Then coming to the app schema, here only still 4 records only it is displaying. So that we have to use the commit here. Okay. So once it is committed, then you can say 5 records are displaying here. Okay. Same way you can delete from using this schema. So directly if you want to delete from app schema, delete from this table name where invoice underscore ID is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I'm giving this number. So then what will happen? So this record will be deleted from the table. Okay, I'm not giving any schema name here. Just I'm deleting this here. Okay, one row it is got deleted. Check this table. I'm having 4 here. Coming to here, still I'm having 5. Then we have to use the commit. Then you can check it again. Then it is having 4 records. So from the app schema, you can directly delete, but once you commit only, then it will be updated in the other schemas. So delete from synonym name I have given here. Either way you can give the directly schema name also here. Schema name you can say 987. If you say 987, invoice ID 987, 2 rows are deleted. Then it is having 2 records. So now I'll do commit. I'll check from here. Only 2 records. So like that you can use the, if you use the schema name also, it will be accepted. Without the schema name, if you want to use it, you have to create the synonym name. Okay, you have to create the synonym for the table name or whatever you want for the object. For that object, you have to create a synonym first. Okay, so how the grant all. Okay, is already done. So this is about the provide synonym. Okay, the provide synonym it will be in the only available in this schema only. So coming to the public synonym, this synonym is created for the user which has got DBA privileges. To create the public synonym, we should have the DBA privileges. Okay. So when public synonym is created and if the same object gets accessed from the other user, table name should not be used as a qualifier. So that means, so suppose if you are creating the public synonym, you have to use this syntax. Create public synonym name for object name. This is the syntax here. So for the normal private synonym, how we are creating without using this public keyword. So we are simply create synonym name for object name. This will be as the private synonym. And when you use this is the public synonym. Okay. So public keyword should be mentioned in this create public synonym name for object name. Then it will be the public synonym. Suppose we'll create one table or we'll create one more example with this. Create public synonym XX table 10 public synonym for EMP. For the EMP table, I'm going to create a synonym like this. And I'll create 19. So XX table 19 underscore public synonym for EMP. So synonym is created. So how can I access the synonym? Select start from my synonym name. So whatever in this employee table, same it is displaying here. Okay. So if you want, you can check this. Select start from EMP. So how many records it is having? 14 records. Same 14 records, then use the synonym name also. So now we have created some synonyms where you will verify that synonyms using the all underscore synonyms. Here, if you want to, our table name only, our synonyms, then table name is equals to we have created on the EMP table. Okay. So on our EMP table, we have these many synonyms here. In the app schema, table 10 underscore S1 and public schema, we have the XX table 10 underscore PS, XX table 10 PS underscore 05, XX table 19 underscore PS. This is the today's created. This one is we created now. So we have the one more table that is also select star from DBA underscore surnames. So in this also we have the surnames. Okay. One more table that is user underscore surnames. So in all these three tables, synonyms information will be saved here. So here some information will be there, and in the DBA systems, DB underscore synonyms, there will be some information will be there. Okay. So here owner name, synonym name, table owner, table name, DB link, whether it is DB link is provided or not. DB link means suppose you have the three instances. In the real time, we'll have the dev instances, UAT, and prod instances. So in the three instances, if you want to access, suppose you created the SNM in the dev instances or prod instances. So that SNM you want to use in the other instances, that is in the dev instances or UAT instances. Then you have to create the DB link for that. So that will be created by your DBA only. Okay, DB link to create that, DBA has the rights. So he will provide the details. Once he provide the DB link, then you can access the production table or production CNM or production data directly into the other instances, that is in the dev instance or UAT instances. Same way, DB link is provided for the dev instances. The data can be directly accessed from the prod instances. So for that, you have to use this DB link, but that will be not, we could not able to create. So we should have the DBA help. You need to take the DBL for that to create the DB link. Okay. So how will you drop the SNM? So you created the SNM. So if you want to drop the SNM, you have to drop this SNM using the drop. You can use this public. If it is a public SNM, you have to mention public, or if it is a private SNM, simply drop SNM name. SNM. The SNM name, whatever the we created in the SNM name. Suppose if we created this one. So here we can use that name here. There is a provide SNM, so that we have to drop SNM name. So this is dropped here. So to drop the public SNM, you have to DB, you must have the DB rights. Okay. So suppose if you are having the both the SNM, public SNM name and private SNM are same, what will happen is the we have the public SNM with the same name as the existing object or a private SNM. So as per the oracle rules on which order they are processed in, just like how the mechanism mathematics in the multiplication and division are performed before the addition and subtraction. Oracle has the order in. So how to, in which order it has to take, whether it is a public SNM first or private SNM first. So local schema objects, Oracle will look at the user's schema for the object name. First it will look for the local schema. Okay. So local schema objects, first Oracle will look at the user schema for the object name. Second, it will look for the private SNM. If a schema object is not found, Oracle will look into the private SNM for the user. Next, public SNM. If a private SNM is not found, Oracle will look into the public SNM. Okay. First, it will verify the local schema objects, whether it is having the any table name or view name. It will verify. If it is not available, then it will verify for the private SNM. If it is available, it will get the data from the private SNM. If it is not available, then it will search in the public SNM. There will be some criteria to use the public SNM and private SNM. That will be. Okay. Okay, this is the criteria we have to use this. So public num, private num here. Who wants it? Public user group is the user that created. Private num it will be user who created it. Scope of the unique name, all database objects. The schema of the user who created it. Who can use it? All database users can use the public num. So only the user who created it, he can use the private num. Order of the precedence is in the third order after schema objects and private nums. Here it is private num, it will be second after the schema objects. That means first it will check for the schema objects. After that it will check for the private num. After that it will come to the public num. That is in the public num is in the third precedence. Yeah. So generally, it is a good idea to avoid creating the public nums. Why? Because so once you created the public num, so the data will be accessible by the everyone in the database or in the company. Who are already users are there, all the users can access these public nums. Okay. Some financial data will be there, some important information will be there that should not share with other departments. Then you should not create the public num on that tables or on that objects. Okay. So because if it is made it public, suppose salary table is there. If you made it a public schema, public synum, then everyone knows the all the employees' salary. So it will be risk or it is a security measure issue. So that you should not use the public synum. Wherever it is required and it should there is no issue for the other data, then only you can use the public synum. Otherwise, you have to use the private synum only. Okay. So this is about the synum. How will you create the public synum? Choosing the create public synum name. If it is a private synum, simply create synum name for the object name. Only these two you can able to create. For the public synum, you have to have the DBA access. DBA rights, you should have the DBA rights. Then only you can able to create the public synum. Otherwise, whatever you are creating the synums, that will be private synum only. Okay. Our next topic is views. Any doubts on the synonyms?
Sir, can you please explain public synonyms, sir?
Which one?
Public one.
Public one.
Yes.
Only public one means normal how you are creating for the private synonym, same syntax only here. If you see this, create synonym name for the object name here. Okay. So for the public, only extra keyword that will be public will be added here. Apart from this, you should have the DBA rights. To create the
Sir,
public synonym, you must have the DBA rights. Okay. So in the visualizations, you will have the DBA rights.